Welcome to Minukuu Tutorials. Please, I would like to know if your AdSense account currently has a payment hold. In other words, as a YouTuber, for example, is AdSense not showing, payment data from YouTube in your AdSense account? If yes, please stay tuned. I would help you out. I've been through this and I'm going to help you. There's nothing to worry about. All right, so let's move on. First of all, there are 4 reasons according to Google AdSense Help why your AdSense account currently has a payment hold. These are not in any order, any order of importance. But among these possible reasons include you haven't verified your identity. In case it's not clear, I would try to zoom it. And I would actually put the link, this is the link. Let me zoom it in case I forget. This is the link to this particular answer concerning why your AdSense, payments are currently on hold, or your YouTube payments are currently on hold in your AdSense account. So this is the link. As you can see, I would copy it. I'll put it in the description so that you can just click on it and then take the necessary actions in case you are going through a similar problem. So never mind, let's go on. So like I said, the first reason from Google AdSense Help has to do with identity verification. These are not in any order anyway. So, but I would just say the first reason, or among the reasons, the possible reasons why your payments are currently on hold include you haven't verified your identity. And like I said, these are 4 possible reasons according to AdSense Help. And then all these might not be applicable to you depending on your location and then your situation. In my case, among all these 4, all that I had to do, I live in France anyway, all that I had to do was just to verify my address pin. And after that, it took some time. I would explain to you why after even verification of your address pin or it still takes some time before you start to see your payments data in your AdSense account. To me, that was even more stressful because I was asked to verify my pin. After I verified my pin, it took some time, and then I finally sorted it out. So I will help you also resolve this problem. But let's go on. The first reason has to do with your identity verification. Depending on your location, all these 4 might not be applicable to you. So in my case, it was just all about identity verification. Address verification. But depending on your location, you might have to give your tax information and then whatever, verify your identity and whatever. So let's move on. The first reason, like I said, has to do with your identity verification. This was not applicable to me. I live in France, and I don't know, it also depends on maybe your YouTube information. If there's something suspicious, then they might want you to verify your identity, and you have to send your passport and other important documents by clicking on, so I would actually leave the link in the description. In case you have a similar problem, just click on the link right in the description and then come and click on verify your identity so that you can submit those particular documents. So it's very simple. And like I said, it depends on where you are located. You might not be. And then one important thing is that anytime if you are supposed to do any of these things, AdSense or YouTube themselves will make sure that they send you a prompt. You understand? In my case, for example, let's move on. So the first one has to do with identity verification. The second, this is not in any chronological order, but let me just say, put it that way. The second possible reason include you haven't not verified your residential address. For security reasons, when you reach what we term as the verification threshold, the verification threshold starts right after the monetization of your channel. When you start to monetize your videos and you start to earn some dollars, as soon as it reaches the verification threshold, which is $10, AdSense will send you what we call the address pin or the mail pin for you to, it's a 6-digit number. It will actually be posted to your address, the address that you provided in your AdSense account. I don't want to really go into the details of that, but what happens is the pin takes 2 to 4 weeks to arrive. In case it gets missing or whatever, for whatever reason, if you are unable to receive it in 2 to 4 weeks time, then in 4 weeks time, if you haven't received it, you can reapply for a new pin and wait for another 2 to 4 weeks time. Depending on where you are located, it might come earlier, or it might come even after 2 to 4 weeks. In my case, it took only 4 days. I live in France, like I said. So the second reason, like I said, has to do with address verification. So let me show you quickly some screenshot that I took when I had this problem and how I solved it. So let me show you in the screenshots. Like I said, this was the message that I received from the onset from AdSense. One day I opened my Google AdSense account and then I saw this message. After I got monetized, I was expecting Google AdSense to be showing my payments data. So usually when you are in AdSense and you click on let me go back. When you are in AdSense and then you click on payments, first of all, AdSense has made us understand that AdSense no longer shows YouTube metrics and other monetization metrics or data in Google AdSense. So for you to see this, you have to go to YouTube Analytics. So I understood this. Okay, but if you click on more over here, let me show you. For example, let's come back. Let me go to the real thing in my AdSense account over here and show you. So I'm coming. Let me come to AdSense account over here. Okay, all right. So as you can see, it's over here in AdSense account. As you can see, this actually my AdSense account. They're saying AdSense no longer shows YouTube metrics. To see your estimated earnings and other monetization metrics, use the YouTube Analytics revenue report. So when I saw this, and then I clicked on more. So when I clicked on more, let's see what happens. This displays, okay, and then okay, this is what displays. Then if you scroll down, they will tell you something. Okay, this the note here. It's stated here clearly that please note that this change does not apply to billing and payments data. Let me highlight it so that you can see. So they are saying that this change does not apply to billing and payments data. You can still find all of your billing and payments data in the payments section of your AdSense account. So it's stated clearly here that although YouTube no longer, or AdSense no longer displays what do we call it, no longer displays your earnings, your YouTube earnings in your AdSense revenue reports. For instance, if you have other links or other sites, those revenues can be displayed. But as it used to be, for instance, at first you had to click on reports and then you see your revenue reports for any product, be it YouTube or not. Right now it's no longer like that. YouTube metrics are no longer showed, so you have to go to your YouTube Analytics to see your revenue. So you just click on Analytics. I'll come back there. This is not the topic of the day, so let's continue. But they've made us understood that for payments data, it has to be displayed here. You understand? So after I got monetized, anytime I come and click on payments, this was always 0%. And then my balance would be 0. And I'll be like, what's going on? But according to my YouTube metrics, I had earned some money beyond $10. So I didn't really understand what was going on. Till one day, I logged into my AdSense account and saw this. And saw this message from Google AdSense that the screenshot that I took on that particular day, that your payments are currently on hold because you haven't not or sorry, you haven't, sorry, because your payments are currently on hold because you have not verified your address. So when I came, I clicked on home. I just clicked on home on that particular day. And then when I went to, let me go to the next page. Okay. When you click on home and you find something like this, below here, it will be indicated. I actually clicked this because I tried to submit my pin. That's why this hasn't appeared. Even though you see it written here, the date that your pin was generated and when it was posted, and it would take 2 to 4 weeks. So I was like, okay. So I waited for 2 to 4 weeks to, and then I had a pin earlier than that. I had a pin in 4 days time, and then I came and clicked over here, and then I submitted my pin. And after I submitted the pin, as you can see, I was told that my billing address has been verified. So after this was solved, I thought, like, as soon as this happened, as soon as I verified my billing address, I thought that was just all. From that particular day, my payments data was going to be displayed in my AdSense. My YouTube payments were actually going to be displayed in my AdSense account, but it was never the case. It took some time. So we will actually come back to the third reason, but I'm trying to throw more light into this, the waiting period after the verification of your pin. So I was confused and I was like, what's going on? I've been able to verify my pin, yet my data is not yet showing. My AdSense account data, or what should I say, my YouTube payments were not yet showing. Anytime I clicked on payments, this was still 0 0, even though I verified my address pin. So I was so much traumatized until one day I searched in YouTube, what do we call it, AdSense help once again, and found somebody with a similar problem. So I'll actually show you the solution and then how to solve it. So please remember, we are still on the second reason, possible reason why your payments are on hold. We said earlier on that the first reason has to do with probably identity verification, and the second reason has to do with address pin verification. So let's continue. So a sister, or I don't know whether it's a brother, had a similar problem and posted in Google AdSense. And then fortunately, there is a recommended answer from Google AdSense for this particular question. The fellow said, and I read, I don't know whether it's necessary zooming it in case it's not clear. So this was somebody in Google AdSense help who was seeking help. The fellow said, AdSense not showing any payment or data from YouTube. Let me zoom it so that it will be clear. I'll actually leave the link to this also in the description box in case. Okay, so the fellow said, folks, I have a linked AdSense account with a YouTube channel. I have been recently sent a pin and also verified the address, or what should I say, sorry, also verified the AdSense account. The problem is the AdSense account, or that's to say the fellow has verified his or her address, but the problem is that the AdSense account does not show any data related to my YouTube channel at all. My AdSense account shows 0 sites, just like I explained. This was what I experienced after I verified my account. So the site shows the account shows 0 sites, 0 payment, 0 report. And then even though YouTube monetization page states it clearly, no, states it's clearly associated with this active AdSense account. So you have 0 payments in your report. That is clear. AdSense has made us understand that it no longer shows us YouTube metrics in AdSense report. So that is okay. But 0 payment, that was wrong. I made you understand that all data regarding to or relating to payments are always still shown normally, as you can see in my account now. But it wasn't shown after I even verified my address. So now the fellow was saying my AdSense account setting, my AdSense account setting is to be paid monthly if the total is at least 60 euros or whatsoever. I don't know this is I don't know this currency. Sorry for that. Which I have reached, you know, quite a while back as per YouTube data, but nothing has come through at all to AdSense. So this is what a fellow is going through. I've been there, like I said. I would like to, I would be so grateful for any help. Should I manually add any YouTube, what should I do? Yeah, should I manually add any YouTube channel details to this AdSense account, even though on YouTube it says, or it clearly states the AdSense account is already linked, and how would I get paid? Please, as the earnings do, please, as the earnings do not show at all. Looking forward to your responses, please. So this is what I was also going through at that particular moment after I verified my address. And now the recommended answer from Google AdSense is right below from Platinum Product Expert, Kukana. Thank you so much, Madam Kukana. This really helped me a lot. So the answer, let me put it right in my own words before I actually go to read it. So what happens is that after your address verification process, that doesn't guarantee that just as soon as you verify your address, then the payments will appear in your what do we call it, in your AdSense account. The payment data will display as soon as you verify your AdSense account or your billing address. That's not how it is. The problem is that, for instance, let me show you. When I checked in my YouTube account, let me show you my revenue as at that time, just to make things clear. Okay, so let me click on custom channel, then I'll go to analytics, and then I'll show you my revenue. I got monetized in September actually, so let me custom it, and then in September, let me say right from the 1st of September 2020, I actually got monetized on the 5th, but let's say the whole of the month of September. Before today is we are on the 11th of October, but let's say 2 weeks back, or let's say I had around $12 or something, yeah, something like of that sort. So when I had $12, it means I reached the verification threshold, and that's why they even sent me the pin. So if I have $12 or even more beyond $12, I expected to have seen some changes, each time I clicked on AdSense, but it was just 0 as you can see, till I saw this notice that I had to verify my address pin. After I verified my address pin, this notice disappeared because I had already verified my address pin, yet the thing was remaining 0. So I never knew what was going on, you understand? So let me now explain what is going on. What happens is that YouTube pays you right now. YouTube no longer displays your daily earnings. I mean your payment. YouTube no longer pays daily as it used to be. For instance, at first they could pay you daily, anytime, at any given time. You could see your actual earnings in your AdSense account on for any particular day, or let's say in the last 24 hours or 48 hours. Right now it's no longer like that. What YouTube does right now is that, so what happens is that YouTube, in my case, the payment threshold that I kept is 70 euros. So at the end of the 70, sorry for the interruption. So at the end of let's say the month, let's say my earnings for September would be paid somewhere between the 10th and the 14th of what? The next month, which is October. This is what actually happened. It's today the 11th, that is between 10th and then 14th of October, that I've received my payments for what? Last month. You understand? So it means my payments for October, I will receive it between 10th and 14th of what? October, November. And then my payments for November, I will receive it between 10th and then 14th of December. This is how it is. Actually, let's say the finalization of the whole payment might be somewhere around the 20th or whatever. I haven't yet received, I haven't yet cashed out anything. But what has to do with YouTube, what do we call it? Payments data, or payments data from YouTube within your AdSense account, that would always appear somewhere between the 10th and then the 14th of the next month. So it's no longer as it used to be, where YouTube used to display your payments every 24 hours or every 48 hours in a day. It's no longer like that. So this is why it takes some time. So after I got verified, I actually verified my account somewhere on the 6th, if I can remember, of October. And on that particular day, this account was still like this. So I had to wait till today. So that was in September. So I had to wait till today in October. No, sorry, that was still in somewhere in October. That was 6th October. So I had to wait till today the 10th, today the 11th of of October, for me to receive the payments for September. So it means the payments for October, I will receive it again somewhere between the 10th and 14th of what? November. This is how it is. And for November, I'll receive it between the 10th and 14th of December. And what happens is that this is actually, so when this comes, for instance, let me show you in my account. Okay, so what happens is that in my account, as I'm saying, in my AdSense account, what happens is that you see that in the month of September, I only had for September I only had 10.17 euros. So this, if I had reached, let's say, the full payment threshold that I've kept over here, which is 70 euros, if I had reached 70 euros, then it means I could have just added my payment data for them to pay me. But currently, even though, let's say, I can add my payments data, but I wouldn't want to do that because I can just add it, but they wouldn't pay me because I haven't yet reached the maximum threshold. So this will be rolled over. My payments, as you can see over here, as you can see, my transactions, as you can see, in the month of August, I was not yet monetized. I got monetized in what? September, somewhere on the 5th of September. So my total earnings for September is 10.17 euros. This was paid to me, like I said, today the 11th. It was paid to me today the 11th, and so if it means my earnings for September, September has been paid. Like I said, keep it once again. It's between, please note, it's between the 10th and the 14th of next month that it will reflect over here. So today the 11th of October, my payments for September has appeared. So when I logged into my AdSense account today, surprisingly, it was no longer 00, but I found out that my payments for September, or my payment data for September, has now been displayed over here. So this is how it works. So with that being said, after you verified your address pin, if in case your payment data for YouTube is not still displaying, keep this at the back of your mind that you probably might have not yet reached the date for the payments, because YouTube no longer displays payments for every 24 hours or every 48 hours. No longer like that. It pays you, let's say the payments of this month will be displayed over here somewhere between the 10th and the 14th of the next month. And in case, like in my case, it's not up to 70 euros, so I cannot cash out. I only have 10 euros for this month, or for last month, so it will be rolled over. So after the end of, at the end of the day, this for September, at the end of October, that's somewhere between the 10th and the 14th of November, I will receive my earnings for October. So it'll keep accumulating till I reach the maximum threshold, and I'll add my payment details for them in order to cash it out. All right, with that being said, I wouldn't continue on this particular point. I think we've elaborated on it very much, or pretty much. So we move on to the next point, which has to do with I think the next point is what, let's move on. So the next point, or the next possible reason why your payment data might be on hold, has to do with, okay, the next point, like I said, we've looked at the first point, which has to do with the verification of your identity. The second point has to do with, or the second possible reason has to do with verification of your address pin. So this I think I've treated it well, and I've even explained to you the issue of waiting. I think I'm done with that. So we move on to the third possible reason, which has to do with what? You haven't set up a form of payment. In other words, you have not added your payment method. You understand? So now let's look over here. What to check? You have to, now the question is, you haven't added or set up a form of payment. In other words, you haven't added a payment method. So they're saying that, have your earnings reached the payment method selection threshold? If yes, then set up what? Your form of payment. So you have to come over here in your AdSense account and come and add your payments method. So let me show you once again. If you would to add your payments method, it's not complicated. When you come over here in your Google AdSense account, let's assume that I had reached my my maximum threshold, which is 70 euros. I can increase it anyway, but I decided to leave it like this. This is the default. 70 euros is the minimum. Depending on your country, the currency, it might be something different. All right, sometimes it's $100, depends. So I could have added my payment method, as you can see, but I don't want to do that because I haven't yet reached. I can add it anyway, but they will not pay me till I reach 70. This is the minimum. This hasn't yet reached 70 euros, so I still have to wait. So they are saying that, okay, one of the possible reasons why your payment data might not be displaying, otherwise your payments might be on hold, could simply be the fact that you haven't added a payment method. So in case you reach the payment threshold that you've prefixed, in order to increase this, it's not complicated. You simply come and click on settings. Right below here you see settings. I wouldn't want to go down and show you some private data, so my user data, I wouldn't like to do that. But when you just go below settings, you find manage settings. When you click over there, you can actually set your payment threshold. So you can fix a self hold, you understand, by either increasing your payment from the default to whatever that you want to put it, or by setting a date. You can say, okay, for instance, I want YouTube to pay me, or AdSense to pay me in maybe the next 2 years time, or in the next 5 months time. So this is a self hold, and that's the actually the last reason why your data might not be showing. It's probably because, let's move on to that. So let's move on. So we've looked at the The third, okay. The first has to do with address verification. Identity verification. We will look at address verification. And then the third, or if you want the fourth, for that matter, let me zoom it once again. The fourth and the last possible reason include if you haven't removed a self-hold, like I was explaining. So in case you fixed your own self-hold, like I showed you, for instance, when you come to, let me go back and show you once again. When you come to, okay, I'm trying to be as much as careful. Okay, so when you come over here, then you come down and come and click on, as I'm showing you in your AdSense account. When you come to settings, I don't want to go down further because I would end up showing you personal data that I don't have to do that. So when you go right below settings here, you find manage settings. You can click on manage settings and you've added a self-hold. That's to say you fixed a date. For instance, you are saying, okay, YouTube should pay you on this particular date, maybe in the next 5 months, or you've even increased your payment threshold from the minimum, which could be 70 euros, or maybe depending on your currency or where you are located, or $100. You've increased it to a particular threshold, and then this is self-hold. So since you have increased it this way, or usually what is more common is that it has to do with the date. So when you set the maximum date for the payments, when you increase it to a particular date, then what that means is that YouTube would no longer, since YouTube, well, let me come again. What that means is that YouTube would no longer display your payments till that particular date is reached. That's what this is actually the default. I left it as the default, which is just 70 euros, and I haven't fixed any date for YouTube to pay me. So that's why as soon as the payments of this last month has actually reflected today, then they ask me to, I can now add my payments method, even though I haven't yet reached the maximum threshold, which is 70 euros. So if you have prefixed or if you have prefixed a date, for instance, you have told YouTube that, okay, YouTube should pay you in the next 3 months, or any particular date that you fixed by clicking on set manage settings right below the settings. If you have done that, if you have given yourself a self-hold, if you have fixed a self-hold, then what that means is that it's either you remove that particular date and leave it default, or if you don't do that, else what happens is that YouTube wouldn't display your payments. In other words, your payments will remain on hold till that particular date. That's what that means. So this is the fourth reason, and I think this marks the end of our what should I say, of our discussion on this particular subject. So let's take it once again. First has to do with identity verification, and let me remind you once again, this might not be applicable to you, depends on your location and your situation. I was never asked to verify my identity. In case you are to verify your identity, they will first ask you to do this before anything else. But I never had any identity verification problem. So straight away, I was only asked to verify my address PIN. I didn't have to submit any tax data or anything, and I hadn't fixed any what do we call it, any self-hold, like I explained. So what happens is that what has to do with you might have to wait depending on which date you verified your address PIN. If you verified your address PIN, for instance, somewhere, for instance, if you verify your address PIN somewhere between the 10th and the 14th, or even after 14th of this of the month that you did it, then what that means is that as soon as you finish with the verification, maybe in the next 24 hours, AdSense would pay you for the last month. But in my case, I verified my address PIN, or I verified my address on the sieve So on a SIF, it wasn't yet time, because I told you it's between the 10th and the 14th that your payments would actually appear over here. You know, your payments would actually appear in your AdSense, in your, sorry, okay, your payments would actually appear here for the previous month. It will appear between the 10th and the 14th of the next month. So my payments for September, since I verified my address pin on the SIF, so I had to wait till somewhere between the 10th and the 14th, and today 11th, fortunately it appeared. So these are the 4 possible reasons why your payments might be on hold. Other possible reasons might include, let's say, submission of address, what do we call it, tax information. For example, if you're in Mexico, I think Canada and US or something like that, but here in France or Europe, you might not have to submit any tax data. So, and then let me read quickly the answer that the woman gave. I gave my own answer, and I never had the time to read it out. So let me quickly read it out, why you might have to wait, so that everything will be clear. So, okay, let's read it. When the lady gave her problem, when she complained that her AdSense account was not showing any payments data from YouTube, and this is the recommended answer I would show you. This is a recommended answer from Kukana, Madam Kukana, a platinum product expert, and she responded and said, AdSense doesn't show any day-to-day earnings, like I explained, or other statistics related to YouTube, but it should be showing finalized earnings, like I said, and that finalized earnings will be displayed somewhere between what, the 10th and the 14th of the next month. So the payments for this month will be displayed in your payments data, your AdSense payments data, somewhere between the 10th and the 14th of the next month. Up to, she said, what will be finalized, will be showing finalized earnings up to the end of what, this the lady's case, so up to the end of August in your balance, you know. So if it is correctly attached, okay, so September's earnings wouldn't appear in your AdSense account until they have been rechecked and finalized in YouTube, and then sent to AdSense around the middle of what, October. So like I said, between the 10th and the 14th of the next month. You see, when was your AdSense account approved? I wouldn't go back into the details, but I think I've explained everything. I don't have to repeat. So in a jiffy, this is what happens. In case you are going through this situation, let me zoom it once again and explain to you. First of all, the number one thing, as soon as you reach $10, which is when you monetize your channel, please look at your earnings properly. When you look at your earnings, okay, when you look at your earnings from your YouTube analytics, when you look at your earnings, let me click on revenue. As you can see, when you look at your earnings, as soon as you reach what do we call it, $10, then you should be expecting YouTube to give you this notice that I'm showing you in the screenshot, that okay, you haven't yet verified your address. So as soon as they tell you haven't yet verified your address, please look down. When you look down, you click on home in your AdSense account and look down here, you find out the date that the pin was sent to you, and then they will indicate that it will take 2 to 4 weeks time. As soon as you receive the pin, you come and click here and submit your pin, and then bam, your pin, you see this notice that your billing address has been verified. After your billing address has been verified, it depends on, like I explained, I don't have to repeat myself. If your data is not showing, please wait until the 10th and the 14th of the next month, so that you can actually see, or if you are already in the month and date. So in my case, like I said, I got verified on the 6th of October. Sorry, I got verified on the 6th of October, so I had to wait until what, the 10th and the between the 10th and the 14th of October in order to see my payments for the month of September. Briefly, this is how it works. I hope I've answered all your questions, and the video is long, but I had to put in more time like this to make sure I explained very well. If you have any comments or whatever, critics, whatever that it is, do not hesitate to let me know. Or if you have anything to add to what I've said, or if you have any contributions, they are welcome. Thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe.